Okay, so all you're going to need today is your mat. If you have a massage ball or a tennis ball, could you please grab it so we can use it as a prop? And then as always, I've got a block out just to give myself a little bit of support where needed. We're going into week 3 of this 4-week series. This is Pilates series number 13. And the first week we were starting the whole detox, getting ourselves moving again, connecting into fascia, and trying to drink about 2 liters of water every day. Last week, starting to incorporate a little bit of breath work, because breathing is one of those things that helps us naturally detox the body, increase oxygen intake, etc. Helps us to also move the lymph in our body. And last week, I started to incorporate that detox drink of that lemon, ginger, honey. And then this week, I'm going to be, for myself, eliminating any kind of alcohol. So if you want to join me on that little bit of a challenge and a detox, you're more than welcome to. And I'm going to do that for the next 2 weeks. And you know, the big thing about alcohol, first of all, is it does dehydrate you as well. So I immediately notice when I eliminate drink, because I love to have a glass of wine at night. If I eliminate the wine, I'm amazed at how much more water I actually will naturally take in. And there'll be sort of like a lovely flushing of the system. I also start to notice like my joints feel so much better when I'm actually not having the wine. So it's obviously the acidity of the wine but you know, any alcohol is going to have some kind of effect. The other thing to notice on just another aspect besides the physical is that alcohol tends to have almost like a little bit of a numbing effect. So I oftentimes realize, like, if I have a glass of wine in the evening, it's almost just to kind of get myself to slow down. It's to kind of like detach a little bit from the day as well. So whenever I stop having a glass of wine at night, I just personally feel like I might be a little bit more tired, but I'm much more connected to what's happened during the day as well. So for me, it's almost like a little bit of a mental detox if I eliminate that glass of wine at night. Anyway, so I'll put this into an email for you guys as well, and then you guys can decide if you want to join me on this additional part of the detox as we go. So with that, today I'm going to be having a focus on what's happening with the upper body, because this is all about lungs, which is obviously the breath. It's about the heart, and it's maybe just about giving ourselves a little bit of space to be able to figure out what's going on with ourselves. So we're going to do an entire body session today, but I'm going to be focusing on releasing through the neck, the shoulders, the chest, the back, and then also into the wrists as well, because that's where the arm lines actually come down into. So we're going to start in a standing position today. If you have a little bit of wall space for yourself, please just go up to the wall so that you can lean against it. And I just want you to bring your ball with you for this first little section. You're going to leave it on the floor just in front of your feet for yourself. Line up your toes, and we're going to be coming back onto our mat. So just if you can move yourself to the wall for now, and then we'll come back onto our mats in a few moments. Line up your toes, soften your knees, let your pelvis and your shoulders actually rest back against the wall. Just let your head come a little bit away from the wall, and then let your eyes close. And first of all, bring your awareness to your feet. Double check that you're not rolling to the insides or the outsides of your feet, that you're really rooting evenly on both sides. And with your knees soft, just bring your awareness now up to the back of your pelvis and your sacrum as you rest against the wall. Notice if there's a hollow in your lower back or not. Don't force it, just observe. And then Bring your awareness up to the back of your ribs and thoracic spine as they lean back against the wall or the door. Let your arms hang heavy. My arms are not touching the wall. So just notice what yours are doing. And then find a little bit of height through your spine. And again, notice if your head is touching the wall or not. Mine isn't. Mine is a little bit away. And we're just going to take a nice deep inhale. Long, slow exhale. And then blink your eyes open. We're going to go into a roll down from here. So start looking down towards your feet. And we're going to roll halfway forward. So your hands are in front of your knees. Pause here and just feel your pelvis pressing against the wall for a moment. Let your neck go nice and easy. And on your next breath, start rolling forward again. And see if you can come all the way towards the ground, but without letting your pelvis move away from the wall. So you still feel that you are supported. Relax your neck again. Notice where you're feeling it. And then on your next breath, come back up into standing and really see if you can imprint into your lower back. Then unravel. Allow the curves of your spine to reappear and your body floats upright. Shift your body weight to your left foot, so you're standing there. Use your hands to balance and put the ball underneath your right foot so you can start giving yourself a little bit of a massage. I'm just moving the block out of the way so you can see. And go to the inside of the foot, the outside of the foot, all the way to the heels and the toes. If you've got a tender spot, then maybe you just want to hold it there or give a little bit of an extra pressure on that spot. And then release, leave the ball there. Shift your body weight now over to the right foot and massage out the left side. And notice how it feels on this left foot. Maybe it's the same, maybe it's a little bit more tender, or maybe your little trigger point on the left foot is in a slightly different spot. And if you've ever been for reflexology, reflexologists will tell you that you've got all these different points that correlate to your body into your feet and also into your hands, by the way. And then just leave the ball there and stand evenly. Center yourself once again. Take a breath in to grow tall. Exhale as you look towards your feet and start rolling forward. Can you articulate? Stop for a moment with your hands in front of your knees. Pelvis leaning into the wall. And then continue forward. Weight of your head leading the way, weight of your arms and hands. Stay there. Take a breath in to feel your stretch. And then on your exhale, come all the way back up into standing, imprint into the lower back, and then releasing all the way up and tall. Keep your knees soft. Bring your hands out in front of you, and on your breath, start to scissor. Scissor. So this is slightly different from what we normally do with arm scissors. Normally we're lying on our backs. So gravity is acting on our joints in a slightly different way from when we're upright. Sometimes we do our arm scissors without any kind of support behind our back and shoulders. So now we also have a tactile cue for what is happening behind us as we scissor our arms through space. Take one more. Bring both arms straight forward. And now interlock your fingers round your arms so you're making a circle as if you're holding a tray. Start rolling gently from side to side. It doesn't matter if your pelvis moves slightly, your head's going to roll with this as well, but you do want to keep your feet grounded. So we're coming into rotation of the thoracic spine, and then that rotation is going to have a ripple up and down. Connect to your breath. Is one side easier than the other? Like I can feel quite a strong stretch on my left side, almost underneath my scapula as I move. Let's do 2 more. Come back to the center and hold. Release your arms forward and then float your arms all the way down. Last time, take a breath in. Exhale, look down towards your feet. Start rolling forward. We're going to stop halfway. Notice how your upper back feels. Take a breath in. Come all the way forward. Stay here. Relax here for a moment. Pick up the ball so you've got it in your hands and then roll back up into standing. All the way up you come and lifting nice and tall. So you can keep your knees soft, rest your body weight, and then just take the ball between the palms of your hands and start rolling out the palms and the front of your fingers. So remember, I just pointed out that we have reflexology points in our feet. We have reflexology points in our hands. And so they correlate to the spine, the different areas of the spine, but also to the internal organs as well, different areas of our bodies. So just massage it out, and then you're going to come to a standstill. So I'm going to do my left shoulder first. I want you to take the ball, just put it behind your shoulder. Now, not on the shoulder blade. I want it between the shoulder blade and the spine. I have moved my pelvis away from the door, away from the wall. So I'm literally leaning back onto it. And now you can roll side to side. You can roll up and down. I feel almost like I want the ball to be lower down for me today and a little bit more towards my shoulder blade. So play with it. There is no right and wrong place. If you're feeling more tension towards your upper back or more tension towards neck and shoulder, then move it around so it feels good for you. And then I want you to find the best spot for you and stop. Lean into the ball so you're gripping the fascia with the ball. And now the ball is on my left side, so I'm going to move my left arm. I'm going to breathe in, reach up, and exhale to bring it down. So the whole concept here is that we're using the ball just to hold the fascia gently, and then the movement of the arm is going to let the muscle glide underneath. So it's not a hectic stretch. One more time. And release. Then let your pelvis rest. Take the ball out. Now, before you do the other side, just soften your knees, rest back against the wall, close your eyes, and just observe if there's been any difference or shift. And just out of interest to tell you guys, my head is now lightly connecting against the wall. Before it wasn't connecting. And I'm not forcing it, it's just kind of shifted there. And then you can open your eyes, and now we're going to do the other side. So I'm doing my right shoulder now. I'm just going to pop that ball behind me. Pelvis, my bum's coming away from the wall, And then I'm just gonna start rolling around. Figure out where on this side I need to find my release. So on my right side, I'm more up at the top corner of my shoulder blade, almost where my upper trapezius is. It's very different from the other side. And now find your best spot and lean into it. Hold it there. You take the same arm, breathe in, reach up. Exhale and bring it down. Inhale, reach up. And release. Make any adjustments that you need. Make sure your abs are connected so that you're supporting your lower back wherever you are. And release. And then let your pelvis settle back. Take the ball out. Just rest against the wall. Close your eyes. And once again, observe. How does this feel? You can blink your eyes open. Now, keep your knees soft. Hold the ball lightly just above your pubic bone. It's just creating an awareness of those lower ab connections. On your breath, tilt your pubic bone up towards your sternum. So you're tucking your pelvis under. And right now, my lower back is flat against the wall. And then release your pelvis back to neutral. Let's do that just a few more times. And release. And again. And release. One more time. Little posterior pelvic tilt. And release. Now keep your shoulders against the wall. Push your pelvis forward so you can put the ball behind you. Now I'm going to keep it at my sacrum. If you want to take the ball higher up into your lower back, by all means do so. And now start rolling side to side. Maybe you want to go up and down. Maybe you want to do a little bit of a tucking action of the pelvis. Just massage around. And just really allow your body weight to sink back. So I'm using my legs quite a bit here to really push backwards as well. You can hear quite a bit of squeaking from the ball on the wall. And then bring yourself back to the center. Settle there for a moment. And then take the ball out. And then once again, just hold the ball lightly in front of you. Pelvis against the wall, upper back against the wall. Close your eyes. Noticing how your body is feeling. How is it responding? You can blink your eyes open. Let's do one roll down. Look down towards your feet. Rolling through your spine, and just notice now how your lower back and sacrum feels. Mine definitely has more mobility after that little release. Stop here halfway. Take another breath. Exhale, coming all the way down. You can place the ball lightly to the floor. Let go of it. Relaxing into the back of your neck. Take another breath. And then exhale, back up you come, abs connecting, lifting all the way up and letting your spine unfold. Start to walk your feet closer in so that you can come up. So now you're going to turn to face the wall. I'm just doing this sideways so you can see what I'm doing. So your hands are going to be against the wall, spreading your fingers out. You need to have your wrists in a somewhat comfortable position. So if you need to take your hands wider or higher, do so. Line up your feet. And then you want a straight line of your body. So that means your abs and your gluteals have to work together. Start bending your elbows to come into a wall push-up, and exhale to press away. Inhale. Keep your elbows close as much as possible, as opposed to letting them pop out to the side. Inhale, bend. Find energy through your crown and energy through your heels. Stay wide across your back. Exhale, press, and stay here for a moment. Now keep your elbows straight. Let your scapula squeeze together. And then press away and see if you can get your scapula to glide wide. And again, squeeze them together. This is called retraction of the scapula. Press away, and as they glide wide, it's called protraction of the scapula. So keep going at your own pace. You might find that you need to bend your wrists and elbows slightly. If they're tight, that's absolutely fine. And press. These are called butterfly push-ups, by the way. And it gives us a wonderful sense of where our scapula are behind us, because they're out of sight, out of mind usually. Now come back to the center and stabilize. Now do a second set of tricep press-ups. Bending elbows and pressing away. 4 more. After the butterfly push-ups, do you have a different sense of awareness and connection to your back body? Can you feel what's happening at your ribs and scapula? Lengthen along the back of your neck. Press all the way back and hold, and then release. Give your wrist just a little bit of a shake. And now, just standing in a comfortable position, you're going to take your hands with the palms facing out and the fingers pointing back, so it looks like that. And just let your wrists rest on the shelf of your hips. So these are called seagull wings. It doesn't look like much, but what you're doing is flexing the wrist, and it can be a very strong stretch for some people. So I'm sure I've mentioned in some of the previous classes that years ago I had wrist surgery on both wrists because I had ganglions, which are almost like little bulges on the tendons running through my wrist and into my hand. So I was losing a lot of strength and plus my mobility. So I can really feel this because of the scar tissue from those surgeries. If this is ridiculously easy for you, then why don't you try bringing your hands up a little bit higher and just settle in there. That's a bit too much for me. So I'm staying here. And you don't have to move anything. You just have to stay. You just have to breathe. And we stay for just a few more seconds. I can see I'm not the only one feeling it. Hey, Fina, I can see you having to shift around as well. Yeah, it's quite intense. And then on your next breath, just release, slide your hands down, and then we just do some gentle wrist movements, just allowing it to release out, moving your hands. And now from here, I want you to inhale, reach both arms all the way up. So you feel how your ribs lift. And then exhale, bring your hands out, and you're going to interlock your fingers just behind your back. Move your hands to your left side, so you've got a little bit of a stretch on that right shoulder. So I'm going to do a mirror image for you here. So you've got a little bit of an internal rotation stretch on that right side. Soften your knees, abs connected. If you want to increase it, you can tilt your head away to the other side and release your head up. And again, we breathe with this movement. So it is a gentle release. It's not forcing your head down and then holding it there for too long. So you are probably feeling quite a lovely stretch down the right side of your neck. We're just going to do 2 more. We're going to do 1 more. Release. Let your hands come to the center of your sacrum. Undo your hands. Breathe in, reach up. Ribs moving. Notice how easy it is on that right shoulder and arm, and bring it all the way down. Now again, interlock your fingers, and this time move your hands over to the right side. So again, I'll do a mirror image for you. Stay here. You now have internal rotation on that left shoulder. Now, if you want to increase the stretch, you do a small tilt with your head and release. And again, little tilt and release. Keep it going. So this movement at the shoulder joint is part of the rotator cuff. So some people might have a very, very strong pull here. Please do not force it. If you've got any kind of rotator cuff issues, if it feels good, then this is lovely to hold. And release. We're going to do just 1 more time. Gentle tilt with the head. And release. Let your hands go. Release your hands. Let's take 1 more. Inhale, reach up. And exhale. Open your arms wide. Now, I'm going to do facing you mirror image. Take your right elbow underneath your left elbow and hook them. Bend your knees so that your knees are nice and juicy. And then see if you can bring your hands a little closer. If that's enough of a stretch, you stay here. If you want more, then why don't you bind your hands? So if I turn on a little bit of an angle, you can see my elbows are crossed and my hands are interlinked. But don't force. If you need to be here, that's absolutely fine. Find a little bit of length along the back of your neck, and we're just going to stay here and breathe. So it's an inhale, feel your ribs expand. That increases the stretch a little bit. And exhale, empty your lungs, ribs close, and you should be able to soften and release a little bit more. 2 more inhale and exhale. So we're bringing our breath work constantly back into our classes. 1 more time, breathing in. Breathing out. And slowly unbind your hands, release. Now let your arms float out to the side and just notice all the circulation and energy moving through your fingertips. So that was a compression around the shoulders, the elbows, and the wrists. Now, taking your other elbow underneath, left elbow under, right elbow on top. I'm doing mirror image for you. You can stay, or you can bring your hands a bit closer, or you can interlock the hands. Just kind of figure out how it feels on this side. Chin in slightly so you've got some length along the back of your neck. And then once again, we breathe. So these are called eagle arms, by the way. The first ones we did were called seagull. These are eagle. And this is now stretching along the back arm line. Releasing slightly different muscles as you inhale and exhale, sinking deeper into it as opposed to forcing it. Last breath in and out. And then slowly, slowly undo the bind of your hands, letting your arms expand to the side and just feeling that tingling. It's almost like my arms feel a little bit more alive and they just want to float up there effortlessly. And then releasing your arms all the way down. And now I want you to come to the back end of your mat. I've been standing off my mat the whole time. Come to the back end of your mat, knees soft. We're going to breathe in, reach all the way up, feeling the opening of the chest, and then float the arms down, nod your chin, and let's just roll gently all the way down towards the floor. I want you to bend your knees, walk yourself all the way down onto hands and knees, and come into a 4-point position. Spread your fingers out, middle finger pointing forward, long spine, and just take an opportunity here to close your eyes and notice your body weight on your upper limbs and lower limbs. And can you feel that you are even on those 4 pillars, like a table, equal support, or do you need to shift your legs and shift your arms? Can you feel that you have a connection into your thumb and your index finger? Gently rolling your shoulders backwards in the socket. And then you can open your eyes as we go into our cat stretch. Start rounding your spine into a cat stretch. Tuck your tail, tuck your chin. There is flexion of the spine. And then start lengthening your tail. Now you're going to go in the opposite direction. So you lift your tail, lift your chest, and lift your eye line. That's extension. Exhale as you round. So as you push away from your hands, can you feel how the scapula glide wide? And then start to lengthen their tail. And as you come to extension, can you feel how the scapula draw closer? So there is a protraction of the scapula as you round. And there is a retraction of the scapula as you extend. So that is the same upper body movement that we were practicing when we stood and did our wall push-ups. So we are incorporating that butterfly action of the scapula into this spinal movement. Now just come back to a neutral position and stop. Tuck your toes under, and before we hover our knees, let's just stretch out the knuckles of the toes a little bit by pushing a little bit backwards and forwards to find the stretch and the release. Getting that little bit of a stretch around the knuckles, and then come forward. So again, you are weight bearing evenly on all 4 pillars. On your breath, lift your knees. So we're coming into our weight bearing, finding stability through the upper body. Let's start to bring together all the information that we've given ourselves so far for our upper body placement, our movements, our connections. And then on your next breath, lower your knees, release your feet, and let's go into our threaded needle. Reach your right arm out to the side and start coming into a thread needle. Let your head settle, stay here, and then you can add the release of latissimus dorsi if that feels good for you. We're just going to hold it for a moment. So we've done a little bit of rotation of the thoracic spine, but we did it upright. So this is now adding gravity, so it's passive. And we've done a few movements where we stretch the back of the shoulder. But what we're adding on now is a rotation of the neck. So this gets a very, very specific muscle around the neck called the levator scapula to release. And it can get tight on a lot of us just because of working on computers, for example, holding tension. So just take a few more breaths in and out. And then Bring your left hand in again. Press firmly into your hand and see if you can control that movement as you reach the right arm out to the side. Hold it here. Level out your shoulders and your hips. I promise you, it's going to be very tempting to rotate. Level yourself out and bring your awareness to your supporting arm right now. You can even close your eyes if you need to. Lats, serratus, all those muscles around your ribs and your back need to work. And then bring your right hand back to the floor. Let's check out the other side. So bring your left arm out. Coming into threaded needle on the other side. Just let your head settle towards the floor. Make any adjustments you need and then slide the right arm out. So again, just feeling your body settle into this shape. And then notice that release along the left levator scapula around the neck. Breathe into it, enjoy the softening. And this is all designed to create space for us around our heart. How does this side feel in comparison? And on your next breath, bring your right hand back in. Push onto that right hand. Take your time. Send the left arm out and then stay there. So we're finding stability, but double check that you haven't rotated your spine. Do you have your shoulders and your pelvis level? Bring your awareness to your right shoulder girdle. Latissimus dorsi, serratus, making sure that they are working. And then releasing the arm all the way in. So now we're going to go into a little bit of a carpal tunnel release. Pivot one hand back so that you're trying to point your fingers towards your knee. And then do the same thing with the other hand. Your two hands may be in different positions depending on injuries and tightness. If this is a hectic stretch for you, then maybe you need to try and bring your shoulders a bit forward to relieve the stretch. If it feels good and you want to go a little bit further, you could just move your hips back slightly. And this is getting the front of the wrists. So again, it can be quite intense. Breathe into it, take a break anytime you need. Just holding it for a few more moments. And then bring your shoulders forward, bring them a little bit past your wrists so that as you de-rotate, that it's easy to move. And then hold it here. Do one cat stretch around your spine. Move your hips halfway back so you increase the stretch along your lower back, taking the weight off your wrists. Pop up onto the tips of your fingers. So now you're actually working all of those intrinsic muscles in the palms of your hand. And we're going to do some little pulses here with the hips going back. One more. And place your hands flat. Bring your shoulders forward and lengthen your spine all the way out. Good. Set yourself up. I want you to take your right leg back, keeping your pelvis level. Balance on your right hand and walk your left fingertips forward. It's light. Shoulders are level. On your breath, pick up arm and leg and stay. Holding it here, I want you to bring your awareness to your right hand and your left shin that's actually on the floor. Use them to stabilize. Round your spine and touch elbow to knee. Lengthen your spine and reach away. And again. And extend. 2 more. Notice how your right shoulder girdle has to work the whole time. 1 more. Extend, hold, and bringing hand and knee all the way in. Find balance. Left leg back, level yourself out. Walk right fingertips forward, make sure shoulders are level. Pick up arm and leg, and you balance. So again, oftentimes we focus on the hand and the foot that are actually in the air. Bring your awareness to the hand and the leg that are on the floor. Round your spine, elbow touches knee. Extend long. And again. And I'm sure you have an awareness of your abdominals working. Now bring your awareness to your left shoulder girdle. 1 more time. Extend, hold, and bringing hand and knee in. You're going to separate your knees, big toes touch, sit back, bring your forehead all the way to the ground, and then, if you can, walk your hands a little bit forward so that you are stretching your arms as much as possible. So the latissimus dorsi muscle connects all the way from the back up to the top of the arm here. So when you stretch your arms overhead like this, you're actually stretching lats, which are part of that arm line. Take a few moments to breathe. Few more moments. And on your next breath, draw yourself back up onto hands and knees. Spread your fingers out. Tuck your toes under. We're going to be going into a downward facing dog position. On your breath, lift your knees, move your hips back and up, and stay here with your knees bent for a moment. I want all your attention to your upper body and your spine. So thumb and forefinger connected to the ground, relax the back of the neck. Roll the tops of the shoulders slightly outwards and reach up through the sacrum. Then can you start to pedal one heel down at a time? So as soon as you add the stretch of the back of the legs, you might notice that your back starts to round. Focus instead on lengthening your spine and doing what you can with the lower leg. Send both heels towards the floor. It doesn't matter if your heels touch or not. It doesn't matter if your knees are bent. Take your awareness to your upper body. And guys, this is considered a normal range of movement with the arms framing the ears. A lot of us struggle here. We're going to take a nice easy breath in and then exhale, hinge the knees all the way down towards the ground. Release the feet back, round your spine into a cat position. Sit your hips halfway back again. Push up onto the tips of the fingers. Once again, we're going to do gentle pulses here. Notice the muscles in the palms of the hands working. Notice the strength and support around the wrists. Pause your hips. Now slide your fingers towards your knees so you can come all the way upright and lift up nice and tall. Take a moment to just roll your shoulders back and around here. And we're going to be staying on our knees. If you've got any knee issues, I know Some people have got some sore knees. You might want to sit down, is absolutely fine. I'm going to turn to face you so you can see what we're going to do. So I want you to bring your hands and I want you to make A-OK signs like this. So thumb and index finger are touching each other. And then I want you to bring your hands towards your jaw. I want you to hook your middle finger under your jaw and flip your hands up and make owl glasses. So this is a neural glide for the arms. You know how many of us struggle with this? So holding that position, and all kids love to do this. Hey, it's quite an instinctive movement for them. And then you're going to release and bring your hands all the way out to the side. So I just want you to stretch your fingers out long, and you're going to break the wrist to pull down, and then release. Turn palms down, and point fingers down, and release. Palms up. Pull fingers down, and release. Palms down. Pull fingers down, and release. One more time each way. And pull down, and release. Last one. Pull, and release. Palms up. And once again, thumb and index finger touch. Bend elbows. Hook your fingers to help yourself, and coming into your owl glasses. Well done. So it's quite a full rotation at the wrists, coming into that neural glide. And then we're going to release. Inhale, reach all the way up. And exhale, open your arms wide. And coming all the way down. Come into a mermaid seat. You're going to have your right shin to the front and your left shin over towards the side. And a little bit of lateral flexion. Side to side seaweed. So opening up around the sides of the ribs, we have some very specific muscles that line our ribs called the intercostals. They help us with our breathing. And this is a lovely, lovely way to start releasing them, getting them to move, getting them to connect. Last one. Come all the way back to the center. Spin your feet around to the other side. That's it. Find your seat. And then, once again, a little bit of lateral flexion. So as I pointed out last week, this is the same movement with the upper body that we did 2 seconds ago, but it might register very differently on you because we put the opposite leg in front. So this is affected by the spiral that's happening from the pelvis down. Last one. Come all the way back up, and then you can spin your feet around. Now again, I'm going to turn sideways. I just want you to stand evenly on your feet. Point your fingers just a little bit out to the side, pressing out of your arms so you're finding a lat and tricep connection. And on your breath, just lift your pelvis up so you are weight bearing on your hands and on your feet. We're going to start moving forwards and backwards. So for a lot of people coming forward, they feel quite a strong stretch around the shoulder. If you have a compromised shoulder in any way, unstable, then please rather keep this very small, yeah? We're going to do one more time, rocking forwards and back. The stretch is a very specific muscle, by the way, called the pec minor. Come back to the center, hold it, and release your feet down. Tuck yourself into a tight little ball shape, and we're going to roll like a ball. Inhale back, And exhale, up and balance. Inhale. And if you're struggling with this, or if it feels like you're hitting your lower back in any way, then use your feet to do a little bit of a kicking action and help yourself. Last two. Last one. And hold. Place your feet down. Arms reach forward. Sit up nice and tall. And roll all the way down onto your back. All the way down, and allow your arms to settle. Bring your feet just a little bit closer in towards you. And I want you to start with your palms down, standing evenly to your feet as we get ready for a pelvic curl. Breathe out as you tilt your pelvis, rolling up into your bridge position. Give yourself an opportunity to feel the gluteals connecting, feel the opening and release of the hip joint, and then roll down through your spine and release. Take another breath. Exhale, tilt pelvis, rolling up into a bridge. Stay for a moment, and through the spine you go. Now we're going to be doing 3 more. We're shifting our awareness to the upper body. Exhale, tilt your pelvis and notice that there's probably a slight rocking action through the upper body. And as you come up onto your shoulders, can you soften the back of your throat? So let go of unnecessary tension through the neck. And then as you come down, be conscious of your ribs connecting to the mat underneath you, and release. 2 more. Rolling up. Notice how the weight of your lungs rolls inside your rib cage. Take a little breath, softening into the throat. And roll down. Notice again how your lungs place themselves onto your ribs, onto the floor. 1 more time. Take a breath. Exhale, tilt. Rolling up. Feel that gentle opening across your sternum and your heart. And then roll down, allowing your heart, your lungs to settle and releasing at the bottom. Now, I want you to take your fingers and place them just at, I'm going to sit up so you can see. I want you to place your fingers just at the bottom of your sternum. There's a little bone there called the xiphoid process. So don't press into it too hard. Just feel it. And then using your right hand on the right side and your left hand on the left side, just lightly trace your fingers along the bottom ribs. And it's amazing how big your rib cage is. It goes really, really low down. I mean, it's very close to your pelvis along the side. And then trace your fingers along your ribs, back up again towards that center point, the bottom end of your sternum. And now, just see if you can lift your ribs up slightly so you can tuck your fingers underneath the ribs and almost dig your fingers under as you trace your hands out to the sides again. Right hand on the right side, left hand on the left side. And basically you are doing a self-massage for your diaphragm. So the diaphragm connects all the way along the ribs here. It actually goes around to the back. Yeah, but we're not going all the way around to the back. Come back up to that middle center point and then do that one more time. Just almost curling your fingers under. And some people, guys, are very, very tight here. So if it's like a bit nauseating or if it's really sore, don't force it. Just probe along as best you can. And it's interesting for me to notice on my right side, down near the bottom along the side, it's definitely tighter. Tracing all the way back up again, and then releasing right there. Now I want you to bring your hands, bend your elbows, and just let your hands flop back on either side of you. So you should feel very exposed. It's quite a vulnerable position. I like to walk my feet wide and let my knees drop together, so I don't even have to think about holding my legs in position. And we're just going to focus on open breathing. Notice how your diaphragm might be able to soften and release more than usual. And if that feels good for you, why don't you try sliding your hands a little higher up overhead. Lengthen along the back of your neck and take a few breaths in and out here. Feeling your ribs soften and release. And if that feels good, you can even take your arms all the way up overhead. For some people, it's a bit uncomfortable around the shoulder, in which case you just pull your arms back down a bit. Nice big open breaths in and out. Feeling your belly respond, your ribs lifting, your diaphragm has a huge amount of release and movement. And if your eyes are closed, you can blink them open. Interlock your hands wherever they are. Slip your hands underneath your head and your elbows float. Wiggle out your spine and then walk your feet together and touch your ankles and your knees. You're going to nod your chin. And on your breath, come up into your first sit-up of today's class. Inhale, release your ribs back. Exhale. Inhale, release back. How does the movement of your upper body feel after we've done all of these releases for the front body, the side body, the back body? Last two. Last one. And release. Take your hands out. Hug your knees in towards you. And do just a little bit of a rocking action from side to side. And then bring your legs back to the center. Hands go behind your thighs. Flex your ankles. Exhale as you extend, straightening your legs, and release. 3 more. So now getting that stretch along the back of the legs again. 2 more. 1 more time. Exhale, extend, and release. Now keep your legs in the air. Take your hands, interlace them, and once again your hands go behind your head. Elbows are floating. On your exhale, chest lift and stretch your legs. Inhale, release down. Exhale. Inhale, release. So we're getting a full stretch of the back of the body, and we're getting a full activation of the front of the body. On this last one, we're going to stay lifted. Exhale and hold it here. Start to lower your legs all the way to the floor. All the way to the floor. If you need to bend your knees at any point, you bend your knees, place your feet to the ground, and relax all the way down. Stretch your arms overhead. I'm a little bit off my mat, so I'm going to just wiggle back slightly. Reach your arms overhead. Little bit of a Banana stretch, a croissant from side to side. And come back to the center. We're going to go into a roll up from here. Palms face each other. I'm going to have my legs together and my ankles flexed today. You can choose your leg position. Inhale to lift arms, lift head. Exhale. All the way over you go for a long stretch. Take a breath in and exhale, unravel to come up all the way up and release your arms down. You can move back on your mat a little bit. I want you to pick up your right foot, step your foot over, keep flexing the left side. Right hand supports you, left hand reaches, and let's just come into a gentle twist of the spine. Softening into the back of your throat. So there is a stretch in the legs, a stretch in the hip. There is a rotation through the lumbar spine. But what I'd like you to bring your awareness to today is the opening across the front of your heart. Use your breath, your inhale and your exhale, to find space, to find softness. Taking just a few more moments here, and then gently release, unwind. Let's do a little bit of a counter stretch where you place your hands onto the floor on either side. A little bit of a rocking, quite a soothing action. It's not big. And release, stretch that right leg out. Step your left foot over, set yourself up, support, reach, creating a gentle spiral. So we're going towards the bent knee, so it is a closed twist. And again, softening into the back of your throat, bringing your awareness to your breath. And again, today, it's about creating space across the front. It's amazing how we can go into the same stretches, the same exercises, and just by changing our mental focus and awareness, it registers on our body in a whole new way. We feel it in a whole new way. And all of these twisting and rotational movements, the connection into our breath, just bringing fresh air and oxygen and energy into our bodies as we detox. Gently release. Move both hands over to the right side. And again, soft rocking action. And coming all the way upright. Just give your legs a little bit of a shake. I want you to turn onto all fours. So set yourself up on your hands and knees. And we're going to tuck toes under. Take yourself into a downward facing dog. And then bend your knees and come back down. Walk your hands a little bit closer to your knees. On your breath, lift knees. Downward facing dog. And lower your knees all the way down. Bring your hands right next to your knees. Lift knees up. Downward facing dog. Soften your knees and walk your hands back to your toes. Shake your head no. Nod your head yes. And slowly unravel. Coming all the way upright into standing. Take your time so you don't have a head rush as you come all the way up and tall. Take a moment to focus your gaze, connecting into your body. One more inhale and exhale with the arms reaching. Should feel so light and open. And exhale, releasing arms down. Fantastic job.